Grayson said, you did that a little too good. Hey y'all, hey, welcome to the next episode of The Deep Dive with Toya Creates. It is Tuesday, May 12th, and we are going to get into Beyond the Gates. But first, per usual, thank you for everyone who is watching and commenting and sharing. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I would love to chat with you guys about what's going on behind the gates. So let's just get into it. Whew. I mean, Mother's Day is over and the week has been crazy already, and it's just Tuesday. But, anywho, finally on Beyond the Gates, we had basically, I'd say 2 to 3 storylines going at once, but they include everybody's mama. Okay, let's get into it. So, as you know, Madison, who is Chelsea's fiance, has been hit with a malpractice suit, thanks in part to her mother, basically providing some holistic advice to someone who she shouldn't have. And basically said that Madison endorsed these things, which she knows Madison doesn't. So this woman named Hazel Harcourt, I think, is suing Madison, okay? And so Bill and Naomi are working together, father-daughter legal team. And so today is the day that we find out who the plaintiff's attorney is. So Caroline's calling Bill to say, like, you know, the person's here. And you can see Bill's like, what? Like, shocked to hear who it is. And he's like, all right, send him in. So who is it? Mike. Mike is Bill's partner, firm partner. And he's also Bill's ex-best friend, apparently. So Mike was removed from the law firm because he was the reason why a lot of their female employees filed a sexual harassment suit against the firm. And so Bill corrected that by removing Mike. And Mike has come back for his revenge. So Bill was like, oh, I thought you were enjoying retirement since I put your ass out to pasture, basically. And Mike was like, oh, you know, I've been enjoying golfing and this and that, but I just got a little bored. So he wanted to get back into it. We know that Mike went out of his way to locate this case. So when he saw that something was coming against some of Bill's people, Mike just had to come on out of retirement so he could, according to him, he was missing the thrill of the courtroom and the case was too tempting for him to resist. So then Mike, of course, lets it be known that he told Hazel everything that has happened and how this is a personal vendetta for him, which I feel like was stupid and is clearly illegal, but hey, people do what they do, right? So Bill is reminding Mike how he became a liability, and that's why, you know, he had to get rid of him. And Mike is just like, you know, I'm going to make sure that you regret everything that you've done to me and how you attempted to bury me out here. So, oh my God, it's just too much. So, at a little later in the episode, we see Naomi enter because, remember, Naomi and Bill are working together on this. And she sees Mike and she's like, what is going on here? But Mike, who, again, was removed for sexual harassment, just could not fight the urge to say, oh, did you wear that outfit for me? I thought Bill was about to flip that table. Him and Naomi ganged up on Mike so fast, they were like, apologize. And he did. Because you know you overstepping. This is Bill's daughter. Don't play these games. He's the type of person that likes to get a rise out of people, which will come into play a little later in this recap. So, you know, Naomi's in there and they're just talking, and Mike basically brings up the option of a settlement. And Bill is just like, let's not, play. Let's not play around. Let's not him and haw. What are you asking for? So Mike writes down a number. Why is the number $40 million? Bill was like, you're killing me, Mike. And it's like, I mean, basically, like, you better figure it out. 40 million. So Bill is like, I'm willing to settle, but it has to be something realistic. Like, this is crazy. So then Mike lets it be known that he has a little videotape, I think, of Hazel's son, because he was like, oh, the son is the cutest little thing you want to see. And then, I have a videotape of him talking about the experience. And I think he has a video of Hazel crying about everything. And so he's threatening to release that if Naomi and Bill are not willing to settle at $40 million. Who the hell is? And then Mike is like, I'm going to go out of my way to basically make Madison's life miserable. I'm going to damage her reputation to the point where she is just worn down and she wants to settle. So Mike is making this very personal. He may need some of that Kenny treatment. He may need a visit from Marcel. Because I wouldn't put it past Bill. And if it were me, and this was fairy tale land, I would consider it. Hey, I need a favor. Anyways, that's basically it with that exchange. So I am sure more to come there. So then, let's just keep on that same plane. We see Chelsea and Madison at Orphe Jeans, and they are, talking about everything, when this reporter comes up, and he starts asking questions about the malpractice suit. So Chelsea is keeping it cool at first, and she's like, please, Madison's not going to answer anything for you, and if you have any further questions, you can contact her representation. But this guy just keeps pushing, and then he starts talking about Chelsea and just, oh my God, I forgot what he said. Let me see. He's just basically harassing them, and he starts throwing shots at Chelsea. And after one or two times of this, Chelsea smacks this phone out of his hand because he's putting it right in their face. She smacks it out of the hand and tells him to get the hell out of her face. Elon happens to be on site, and so he runs over and he it breaks it up because he doesn't want things to escalate. This is his family too, by marriage. So he takes the reporter to the side, and he said at first the reporter was not going to sue because the reporter was like, that's it, I'm gonna sue. Of course that's what you're gonna do. So like I said, Elon breaks it up. He talks to the reporter, and then he tells Chelsea and Madison, the reporter said he's not going to sue, which is good, but, you damaged his camera, which you did, but whatever, you had it in my face. I don't care. But she said she will pay for the camera, and then I think it's handled at that point. And so Chelsea and Madison leave. And Chelsea and Madison go over to Bill's law firm where they find Naomi. Mike is gone at this point, and so Bill and Naomi update Chelsea on who the opposing counsel is. And she's like, oh, this dirtbag. Well, now that we know that scumbag Mike is back, what's the plan of action? And then they basically deduce that the run-in with the reporter was the work of Mike because it was just very coincidental. So Madison is just mortified. She's very regretful. And she feels like she's putting the family in an awkward situation. And she was like, well, why don't I just get another attorney? And they're like, no, you're family. You are family. And we're going to stick up for each other. And Chelsea's like, I'm glad I gave that reporter a hard time. And Bill was so proud of his baby girl because Chelsea had said that reporter better been glad I just knocked that phone out of his hand and didn't crack him upside his head. But yes. That is how we end with that. So more to come. I am hoping that we actually get at least a sneak peek of Madison's mom, maybe on FaceTime or something, because we have not seen her, and this is her fault. And I want to see this Hazel woman and this kid, and I just want to see how it plays out since, this is what we've been given. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Madison she was, I guess, able to appeal the sabbatical at work, and she could still see her patients. And that is what Chelsea and Madison were doing prior to coming to Orphe Jeans. So yeah, that's it on that. Now, the next story was this, what do you call it? Red Market plasma ring, child. It involved Ashley, Grayson, Smitty, Jacob, Joey, Randy, all the people. So, let me try to go in order. So then we opened up with Randy and Joey talking. And Joey is fussing about business. He is having a bad day, okay? His boxers are in a bunch. He's over it. And so Randy gives him an update on the assignment that Joey gave to him, which was tailing Smitty. So yesterday, Randy saw Smitty go into Jacob's room. But, Randy doesn't know Jacob, thankfully. And, yeah, he was just trailing Smitty. So he told Joey that he saw Smitty go into this hotel room with a guy that he didn't recognize. And then, and he didn't get any information there. Then he tells Joey that he went to the front desk person and it was a woman. So he started flirting and he was doing what Randy do. And he got her to talk. Okay. So she was saying how, the person who's staying there, their name is Rashad Moore. She done gave out all the information. Rashad Moore, and he doesn't live there. He just pops in nightly. Men come and go. And then Randy shows the woman a picture of Smitty and just asks like, oh, have you seen this man? And the woman confirmed that he had been there. And so, Joey and Randy deduce that Smitty is cheating on Martin with some prostitutes, okay? Because it's the only thing. So then Brandy still has Vinny watching Smitty, but Joey, I think he sent Randy off to just do some more digging because Randy leaves and that's it for that. I'm just like, oh my God. So then we see Smitty in Jacob's hotel room, and Smitty is telling Jacob that Leah happened to be one of Lynette's victims, okay? And she wiped out her savings. So then Smitty is planning on talking to Tomas about Lynette because he knew that Tomas was representing Lynette. And so Smitty said he's going to frame it as like he's doing research on a larger piece in financial crime. And so Smitty also mentions talking to Nicole as well, but Jacob advises against that because he's like, you already hacked her computer. Let's just, people are probably suspicious. So Smitty agrees to that, and then he's off on his way. So then we see Ashley and Naomi. They are at the hospital. They are still equally digesting the news that Leah is a threat. So Ashley is just like dumbstruck. And she cannot believe that Leah is involved. And Naomi was like, basically, you got to keep your head on a swivel in here. And you cannot fall apart. You have to act like everything is normal. And Naomi was like, girl, just leave. Leave, say you're sick. But, you can't put me, Jacob, and Grayson at more risk. So Naomi's on her way out. And she makes Ashley promise, like, if anything goes awry, anything, just please leave. And she says, okay. So, because Ashley can't leave right now because she has promised to take on some additional hours. That's your fault, but whatever. So then Naomi's on her way out, and who is lurking? Leah. I'm like, ah! She scares Ashley because she just snuck up on her, and I'm sure Leah was about to go into her usual whatever, even though Ashley told you I broke up with the man. So then Ashley starts deflecting and then just talking about how hard it's been since the breakup and this and that. And Leah's like encouraging her a little bit, and you can tell she's happy to hear that they're still broken up. Okay. So then, let me see. Real quick, we saw Carlton and Nicola in this hospital, whatever. Carlton is checking on Nicole after hearing that Anita rang the cancer bell, which is nice. And Nicole is just telling Carlton that she's happy that he's been there for her and just recognizing it, and that Carlton is just not anyone, and they kiss, and Carlton wants to make things up to her because he had to rush out last night after they did the do because he had an early morning surgery. But now that that's all over, Nicole's like, oh, do you have time today? And so they head out of the hospital. And as they are heading out, that's when Grayson comes in. Okay? But let's get there later. So Jacob and Elon are catching up. Jacob is updating Elon on the Lynette connection and how Leah is now a person of interest. Elon does not want to believe this about Leah because Leah has been helpful in the past with like investigations. So he has some concerns about that. But if she's dirty, he's going to try to, he would try to see. So Elon agrees to look into that. And then a little later, Jacob has to tell Elon that, well, let me not get ahead of myself. Sorry. So that happens. So then we see Ashley at the hospital. She is at the front desk and she's a little bit on edge. Okay. As soon as Nicole and Carlton head out on the elevator, because Nicole stops by the desk and she's just like, I'm gone for the day, basically. I'm not going to return after my break. And if anyone's looking for me, just direct them, yada, yada. And Ashley's like, okay. So as soon as Nicole and Carlton leave, Grayson is getting off the elevator. And Ashley's just like, what are you doing here? Because she has not heard from Grayson since the other day went down when Grayson was threatening Smitty with scissors. She has not heard from him. So she's surprised to see him, but she still has all the questions. And finally, Grayson starts opening up about what's going on. And so while he is talking, Leah lurking in the background. Okay. And Ashley is also able to tell Grayson about how Leah wants him to volunteer at that clinic and she must really want you there really badly. And Grayson was like, well, how do you know about that? And she was like, Derek told me because, he was forced to basically allow you to volunteer. And so at some point, Grayson is saying, he was just doing all of this to protect her. And he puts his hand over Ashley's hand while Leah is in the background spying on them. So then Grayson notices that Leah is looking. And then he quickly tells Ashley to cover by saying, he was like, hit me. And Ashley was like, what? He said, we're being watched. Just hit me. And Ashley keeps protesting. He was like, stop being a little bitch about it. And she slaps fire out of him at that reception desk. The other nurses are like, oh my God, too bad Shanice was not at this desk today. The other people are like, oh my God. And Leah was like, what the hell is going on? She ran over to that desk and she was like, what is happening? And then Ashley covers. Oh my gosh, she plays this role so well. She's like, oh my God, he won't leave me alone. He won't accept that it's over. And Leah was like, Grayson, get to the lab right now. Like, get your ass out of here. I cannot believe this. So Leah totally buys this. And Grayson just walks off. So then in the next scene, we see Joey and Smitty run into each other at Atrium. And Joey, with his petty ass, he just starts immediately. He's like, hey, Smitty, I'm so glad I ran into you. Now I don't have to track you down. He said, how's this for a headline? Husband of promising politician seen with mystery man at local hotel. Smitty was like, oh, okay. So then Joey's like, oh, so is the piece you're working on, is it about male prostitution? And Smitty counters with, oh, that's what we're doing. Smitty was time enough for him. He was like, oh, well, speaking of male prostitution, maybe I should do a piece on heart attach. And do you want to comment? And he started recording and put it up to Joey's mouth. And Joey's like, huh, Joey. He had nothing to say. Because he was like, oh, maybe you want to give a statement about it. And then Smitty was like, oh, I thought not. So maybe we just both let each other off the hook, basically. And Joey goes on about his business eventually. Now, Smitty is all concerned now. And he calls Jacob immediately. He is telling Jacob that Joey is tailing him. Because Joey told him he was. And Smitty is telling Jacob how he is concerned. So then Jacob has to call his daddy again. Okay. He calls his daddy the first time to talk about Leah and how she is now on his radar. Then the second time he's calling because he needs a favor. He needs, Joey to basically not be trailing Smitty and not to do anything that could cause this investigation to go off the rails. So Elon did not know this entire time that Smitty was Jacob's source. Elon was livid. He was like, Smitty? Like Martin Smitty? Boy, I can't believe you dragged the Duprees into this. He is very mad. And then he also knows that, Martin had like a detail or whatever. That and just the fact that Joey is trailing him. Elon is like, no, we cannot have this. And so Elon says he's going to go talk to Joey. Okay? So that's what happened there. So then after that, we see Smitty go to the hospital like he told Jacob he was going to do. And Ashley is there. And Smitty comes in and he's just like, hey, Ashley, I was looking for Nicole. Ashley's being all like weird because she is on, I'm sure, 11 at this point. Her anxiety is off the charts. She's just like, low-key digging about this blood plasma case. And he's like, I'm looking for Nicole. And Ashley was talking about, I remember you stopped by before, but you said you like to leave handwritten notes and something like that. And then Ashley was like, oh, yeah, you used the same excuse last time, as Smitty is explaining. And Smitty's just like, what? So then Ashley's like, well, I have access to Nicole's office in the event of an emergency. But Smitty was like, it's not an emergency. But Ashley's like, well, it could be. And then they head off to the office because Ashley is basically trying to dig because she's onto Smitty and she has been onto Smitty and she told Naomi this and this is her moment. So then Smitty and Naomi get in Nicole's office and the door barely closes before Ashley is like, I want to know why I'm being threatened. What's going on? Why are people getting stabbed? Why was Jacob what is happening? So this Smitty is trying to stick to the story and not give Ashley anything. But Ashley was like, enough. She says she will tell Martin about all of the things that she has seen and knows today. And she will tell about Smitty hacking Nicole's computer. Because Ashley, baby, she is coming for Kat's PI job. She has figured it all out. And she is willing to, she needs it to end now. Okay, so Smitty's like, oh, you're blackmailing me? And she says, no, I'm not blackmailing you. This is purely out of desperation because she just wants to figure out what's going on. She's been dragged into something, accidentally, and she is in danger. So I feel like it's fair at this point because Ashley is in significant danger, more so than Smitty. So I agree with Naomi, who said this, she needs to know. So then, let me see. So Smitty then starts to open up about things. He tells her that the stabbing of Grayson was not intended to kill him. It was just to keep him in line. And so Ashley is just digesting all of this, and then she keeps running her mouth. And at that point, she talks about how Leah wants Grayson to volunteer at that clinic, and she wonders why. She was like, Leah must really want something at that clinic because she's making Grayson volunteer. And Smitty was like, oh, pen out. What did you say? So then Smitty starts taking notes, okay? And Ashley is noticing that everything Smitty is saying, he's using his words very carefully, and he's like, I can't say it. She's like, or you won't say, okay? Ashley has had enough. So she's just spiraling out. She thinks Grayson is the bad guy. She's worried, like, oh my God, did Grayson stab Max? And so Smitty can see that she's crashing out. So he's just like, I will tell you that Smitty is a good guy, and Jacob told me this personally, that Jacob thinks he's a good guy and that he just got in over his head. And so you can see a little bit of relief on Ashley's face when he says that, because I I understand. She just want to know what's going on. So then next we see Elon stomping up in that casino visiting Joey in his full uniform. And Joey was like, my patrons might be a little nervous when they see a cop walk in here, but what's that? So Elon is re-questioning Joey about his dealings with the red market because last time he asked Joey said no, he was disgusted by it, blah, blah, blah. But remember, we saw Joey giving Leah a heads up. So he's involved in some way and he's just lying to Elon. And I'm sure Elon knows it. But, Joey maintains he's not working with the plasma situation and he prefers his casino money to everything else. And so Elon basically tells Joey that he cannot have his men digging around because they are actively investigating something. And to pull your men out right now, Elon don't want to hear it. He don't care about none of that. And so he is fully expecting Joey to pull his men and he walks out the door. So Joey calls Randy, who is at the hospital, still watching Smitty. And Randy tells Joey, yeah, I'm still watching him. He's at the hospital right now talking to that cute nurse, Ashley. I'm like, oh, God, he's running his mouth. So Joey's like, oh, how coincidental, because the chief of police just paid me a visit too. And then Joey's just like, the stare off. He is thinking about all of this. So, let's see. We also saw Leah with Grayson towards the end. And Leah was like, you stay away from Ashley, okay? And, I know how to keep you guys apart because your first shift at the clinic is tonight. And Grayson was like, no, it's not because Derek won't let me work there. And Leah was like, think again. I went over his head and talked to Leslie directly. And your first shift is tonight. And you better get the whole layout of the lab. And Grayson, he's like, I don't... You don't want none of this. But Leah was like, you better just stay in line and do what I say. Things are already thrown off because of the other shenanigans. So get in there and start volunteering. Because Grayson's like, I don't want to be stealing no blood. I don't want to do any of that. So that is basically all that happened today. It was a lot, but we focused on about 2.5 storylines, so that made it easier to follow. I am still ready for the red market case to be done. I appreciate that we're getting a little more information now. And I am curious to see how this thing goes with Mike and Naomi and Bill, because we know Mike is going to get real dirty. And I wonder what might come out and Bill and Naomi's lives as a result of this, because I do not put it past Mike to just play absolutely dirty. You know what I mean? Because he's a snake. Clearly. So I think there are more exciting things to come with these particular storylines, and I'm ready for them. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next.